Welcome to Conversations in the Closet with your host, motivational speaker, fitness expert, and fashion guru, Theresa Roemer.
Welcome to Conversations in the Closet. I am Theresa Roemer, right here with my great co-host, Michael Pearce. Hello, Michael.
Hello, gorgeous.
Well, not so gorgeous today. I had that vampire facial. You know, that's kind of scary, that vampire facial, because it's a very good Halloween mask. Let me put it that way. Oh, I was a bloody mess, but thank God people can't see what I look like today, but I'm healing really well. So thank God I had it now and not a few weeks ago. I want to talk today about Fashion Week that we did in New York City a couple weeks ago.
How fun was that?
Oh my gosh, wasn't it fun?
I have never been to Fashion Week. The closest I've come to Fashion Week is watching Project Runway and screaming, "Why are you voting for these people? Like, who's voting for these people?"
Well, I thought it was fun that you were the only guy allowed to go on our trip with us.
I love that everybody coming up to me and saying, "What do you do for a living? How do you have all these gorgeous women?" And like, the one guy, I told him, "You're all bounty hunters, and you've come to track me back."
I mean, literally, you were surrounded at all times with about 10 women, like nonstop. I mean, it was so funny.
That's my everyday life, though. I mean, let's be honest.
That is true. That is true. We love you. You are our go-to husband. You know, we're so lucky to have your husband let us use you like we do.
Amen. Well, I know your husbands are like, "Hey, if I don't have to go to this thing, have at it. Take that weird little guy with the big hair."
So, Michael, I want to know, why do you think fashion is so important to us?
You know, it's funny because I'm in this little like fashion contest right now, and I guess it means different things to everybody. I like the idea of it being an expression of who you are. I've had a big transformative year, so that's what it is for me. It really depends on you're asking. Some people, it's a way to judge others and look down on labels. I've never been attracted to that, and I know you're not either. But you know, it is not going away. Fashion and rock and roll are staples of the American, I guess, business system, for lack of a better term. I'm blanking on it, but I don't know.
Well,
what
yeah.
do you?
Right, but you know, I mean, like you said, I think we all look at fashion in different ways. You know, a lot of people look at fashion as a way to judge other people. You know, what designer do you have on? Oh, she doesn't even have a designer dress on. It's something from Target or something. You know, I mean, like, you know, you and I go to enough things and enough fashion shows and enough events that we see this all the time. You know, you and I personally don't get involved with fashion for that reason only. We get into it because, number one, we like how it makes us look, of course. But you know, I'm a famous one for as much designer stuff as I have in my closet. I also have stuff that I have gotten at Target. You know, I'll take a pair of blue jeans that I bought at Target and put it with a $5,000, you know, Hervé Leisure top, or you know, a pair of Gucci shoes. I mean, like, I love to mix and match. Don't you?
I'm totally about that. I kind of giggle when I see the people who are taking it right off the runway and wearing the exact clothes. It's sort of like a uniform. They're like garanimals for the Fashion Week Challenge. I'm like, I've seen that look. Where was it? Oh yeah, it was streaming in Fashion Week. Which, don't get me wrong, I adore the artistry and the pageantry part of some of these over-the-top shows, but I can't pull off some of that stuff. So my favorite things that I've worn to events have been actually costumes. I wore a cheetah costume suit, and I got so many freaking compliments on it. I'm like, yeah, it was $50.
But I just love being able to mix and match and take something that's very, very inexpensive and put it with something expensive. And to me, it just makes the outfit look even more amazing. You know, like last week, you and I attended Runway Houston. Very, very big fashion event, you know, and I was so excited to wear my new Tom Ford top and skirt that just came off of, you know, it's part of his fall winter 2017. So, I mean, you know, there's events like that where I'm so excited that I'm wearing the latest, greatest of stuff, you know, but then there's times like today, you know, we're sitting here in my closet doing this show, and I've got a pair of leggings on from Target and this big baggy blue jean shirt on that I got at Express.
I will say you looked amazing in that peekaboo Tom Ford. I was, of course, wearing Sears and Roebuck's 1983 that I paired with a gorgeous Hermes belt gifted from my friend Theresa. But
But see how you mixed and matched?
I did.
Great. It's great. But why do you think fashion is so important to us? Why do you think it's so important that we attend the events that we do and the fashion shows that we do?
If I'm being honest, for me, a lot of it is the people watching. The only place the people watching is this good is at the airport, because you see so many people sort of putting on airs. Then you people who really are stylists. And by the way, you don't have to have money. You don't have to have shop a label to have style. I'm a firm believer that style is how you pair things, not what you wear. So, but I love the people watching. And then Omar's thing was big because he did a lot like another philanthropist here. They're pairing fashion with philanthropy and making it a way of giving back. So that's why I go to these things. That and the
right. Exactly. That was right on the tip of my tongue. I mean, like, that's the number one reason why I go to a lot of the fashion events I go to, is because when I see that they're actually helping a charity or donating the money to a charity or whatnot, that's the event I want to go to. Because I myself have thrown fashion shows where we benefit different charities, and so I just think to me, that's the number one reason why I enjoy going to the fashion events. Is I know I'm helping and I'm giving back, but also, like you said, it's fun to people watch. It's fun to see, people, but I also want to see what's on the runway. I want to get the next designer's greatest and latest. I really do, and I've noticed that's how it's a little different in California versus Texas. When you go to a fashion show in California, you go because you want to order something from that designer. In Texas, it seems like you go just because you want to be seen.
Well, it's changing. That was actually the big trend, the big change in Fashion Week. You saw like Burberry and a lot of these other big designs have now gone, they're doing the show and it's immediately, you can off the runway buy, and they've changed the whole format. So it's really interesting to see how Fashion Week is going to change from here out. And I think the same thing for the designers that Omar had at Runway Houston. They were a lot of local designers, and then you had Project Runway people, and you could be buying their clothes right off the runway there too.
Right, and that was what was so exciting with Tom Ford this year. He was the only designer that did this. He made history this year. He picked one day in September where literally every store, every venue that carried Tom Ford, they literally ran his video, his fashion show video, the day after, his event that night. Everyone streamlined that video in their store or in their venue, and you were literally able to purchase the clothes from that venue or that store right then and there. And that's how I got my peekaboo top and my skirt from the 2017 collection, is because I went to Neiman Marcus that day, literally saw the video as it was streaming, and picked out my stuff and went home with them that day. And no, you've never been able to do that before. Usually you have to place an order.
And that's how it's going to be from now on. It used to be that these fashion shows, they were originally big art forms with these crazy sort of statement pieces that weren't anything you would wear, but would drive you to the store, and then they'd have seasons, and then it'd be so far ahead. I think now in this digital age where it's media right now, you're online, you're live streaming, that it's tangible. I want it, I see it, I need to have it now. That's how it's going to be. I bet you see everybody next season doing the exact same thing.
Oh, most undoubtedly. Yeah. And when it comes to fashion, let's talk about this. You have been nominated for Style Maker of the Year for Culture Map.
I know. How crazy is that mess? Somebody looked at Granimals and said, hey, let's put that Joker up there.
How did you get nominated and I didn't?
I don't know. I think they must have been drinking. There was an anomaly in this completely. Actually, what I think they're doing is I think they're breaking up the cool kids out of the cartel and only doing one of us at a time. I think that's what it
right.
is.
That's right. How could they have you and I compete against each other?
I would quit.
Really?
I would drop out and say, I'm done. I've seen her wardrobe. I've seen her closet. I will take my JCPenney and fold.
No. Okay, so for those of you out there that don't know Michael Pearce is the only person I know that will take his children to the park in a tuxedo. Literally, I don't think I've ever seen this man in a pair of jeans and a t-shirt. Literally, if he does it, it has to be like deep dark in the attic of his house or something, because no one has ever seen him no one has ever seen him look bad. And I do have a little story. The only time I personally have seen him, the only time I personally have ever seen the man look remotely bad, and I can't even say he looked bad that day.
It was bad. You could tell it was bad. I had baby vomit on me and paint. I looked homeless. I thought you were going to hand me money. Like, you need some money. I didn't realize how bad off you were. Like, oh, go ahead. Cringing.
No, but it was so cute because earlier in the day, it was his daughter's birthday, and he threw this massive, huge birthday party for her. I mean, I think it wasn't it the Frozen theme or something like that?
Yeah, it was a little Texas party. There were 250 people.
Little.
It's a Texas party. We had a foot of snow put on the front yard in August, which is common in Houston. But yeah, no, I'll admit it. It was a little ridiculous. Her parties have been really ridiculous. And I was excited because it's your birthday. You share the same birthday. So
yes.
I was like, this is great that Theresa's coming. We had a little cake. I was like, I don't know if she's going to show up. And of course, I changed and did a wardrobe change I had 3 at the party, and I went for my last tux look with my daughter. I had wardrobe changes, and like, oh, I'm going to get in my sweats and casuals, eat some cake, be a fool. And ding dong.
Because I was running late from all of my meetings, I got to the party late. Of course, everyone was gone, but I still had her present with me, and I still wanted to show up. I'm a woman of my word, Yeah. So I ring the doorbell, and of course, I'm dressed to the nines because I've been in all these
nines, like zippered on the shoe, matching the dress. I mean, it was stunning. I just sat there, my jaw hit the ground. I'm like, Michael, no here. Michael, no here. I go get Michael now. And I like try to saunter away like Igor, like, oh crap, somebody give me a mask. I'm like, I'm not Michael. Not Michael, he's not here.
And I felt so bad that I was showing up late, but I was a woman of my word, so I wanted to show up. And Michael, of course, had slipped into his just loungewear.
It wasn't even loungewear. It was the clothes that I clean the house in or do housework in. And I was thrilled that you came. It was so sweet that you came. I know you had stuff for your birthday. You had a lot going on. So the fact you made it was amazing. I was just mortified that I'm like, here you come in the rolls and looking stunning and just, I mean, gorgeous. I don't know what you were wearing, Gucci or what it was, but I was not. I literally had baby vomit on me because Winston was a baby at the time. I'm like, so I have never, ever, 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 ever allowed myself to be dressed that way again around here.
But like I said, he's been nominated for Style Maker of the Year. So, like I said, no one has ever seen him look bad, ever, ever. I mean, like, I'm sure the day that he is ready to die, he'll make sure he's dressed out in the best tuxedo, and people are going to be coming to say their last respects, and he'll just look amazing.
Actually, I'm gonna have a big old crank put on, like a Benny Hill crank. You turn it a couple times and see my spring load out like a clown. But I want to ask you, what is fashion about you? Because you've asked me, I mean, it's about expressing the body change and being much better and in a healthier place and liking the way I look. What about you? I mean, you have an amazing wardrobe of stuff, and what is fashion about for you, represent for you?
Well, and fashion's important to me because, number one, I am a designer myself, so I've had my own women's lines that I'm, of course, fading out of. But, I'm now a big designer for fitness wear. And so fashion is huge for me because in the past, I've always wanted to stay up on the latest of trends to make sure that my fashion line was always trending and spot on with what was going on in the world, but with my fitness wear, I think with my fitness wear line, I'm actually going to be able to take a special place in the world because I'm not only going to cater to the extra small individual, but I'm catering clear up to the 3XL, and I'm going to launch out into men's by next year. So I know. And even though you don't work out, I'm sure you're going to buy a pair.
I will buy a pair. I'll lift up a weight. I will pretend to sweat for you. I will pretend.
I'll make sure you're my male fitness model.
I'll be the before model, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be like the before. And then she'll have some gorgeous Adonis saying, work out and you can look like this, but that's okay.
So I'm just saying, fashion's always been important to me because I'm a designer and I'd like to know that I'm spot on with my designs and staying with the latest of trends. But also, I'm myself, growing up as a little girl, I didn't wear anything but hand-me-downs because we were not wealthy people. We were very poor people living on a ranch. And so I wore a lot of hand-me-downs. And so I always vowed to myself that the day I was able to start making my own money, I was just going to become a clothes hog. And considering I have a 3,000 square foot closet, I think I've succeeded.
I think so too. You have the prettiest sty I have ever seen. That's the prettiest pig pen I have ever seen.
But also, you know, as well as everyone else does, that even though I have this ginormous closet and it's all about fashion, my closet is also about charity work. And, you know, I just recently gave $40,000 worth of clothing and merchandise to Fifth and Union.
Yep.
And I've been watching it. It's been posting on their website, and I've seen my stuff being sold and how much money is going to my favorite charity, you know, Women's Home. And so it's very gratifying, and it's fun to know that my obsession with clothing actually, you know, gets to go for good causes later on when I'm done with them, you know.
I want to take a moment and brag about you too, separate and apart from Union Fifth, which I think is phenomenal. You brought, like, Houston has had their little fashion epicenters and shows and a variety of them that are all jockeying for position, but you took fashion out to the Woodlands and created the first Fashion Woodlands show, which was huge. And you did it with your designs, other people's designs. You did it on a huge scale. Even one year, hosted in your house, all of that with the proceeds going to a variety of charities too. I don't know if your listeners know that, but that's really impressive. And for those of you who are listening outside of Texas, the Woodlands is a very fancy part of town, but it's a little bit farther north of Houston, and so it's its own separate city. The fact that you created a Fashion Woodlands is pretty epic, and it was not a small undertaking. I mean, it was a huge undertaking that you did there.
No, and you know, a lot of people may not know that we actually held 2 in 1 year. You know, one was in March and the other one was in October. And so that in itself is hard to do when you put together the event as big as we did. To be able to do 2 in 1 year it's quite hard to do. I mean, if any of you have ever thrown up a little party, okay, now throw a party for, you know, at least 500 people and do 2 of those in 1 year, where it's a big production. You know, you've got production teams, you've got, you know, all these designers you've got to get together. You know, it's a huge production. But but what's so really cool is that my Houston peeps support me. I mean, you know, it's almost funny that we get more support from our Houston peeps than we do our Woodlands peeps. And I started this out here to try to help the Woodlands people be able to attend events as if they were going to the ones in Houston, but they don't have to drive that far, you know? So I don't know.
Well, actually, it had a weird ripple effect for me too, because one of the beneficiaries, I don't remember which Fashion Village you did, it was the Joe Negro Foundation. I'm chairing their ball in October now because they were one of your beneficiaries. They reached out and contacted. So, I mean, just from even doing that, not even the money you raised, but the connections you got there are having ripple effects throughout all of Houston. So it's a kudos to you, taking fashion and philanthropy. I love you for it. Right.
So that was the fashion show last October. And so here you are a year later, you know, chairing that gala. So how fun is that? You know, so I guess the takeaway here is, you know, everyone's got their own reasons why fashion is important and why they attend fashion events. And, you know, we've together, Michael and I, shared a little bit of insight on why fashion's important to us and why we tend to have to go to all these
Can I ask you 2 questions before you cut it short? I know we're running out of time. I want to hear from you your favorite fashion trend and the one thing you hate on fashion right now, the trend that you don't like.
Oh,
I know I'm putting you on the spot, make it controversial. I'll tell you mine if it makes it easier.
yeah.
I hate the chunky heel. I know it's on point and on trend, but I'm like, nobody needs to wear a big old chunky heel. Like, I know I don't wear like high heeled shoes, so who might have talked, but it just looks like, are you lifting a truck? Like, what are you moving that you need a heel that big? Like, no, the chunky heel offends me and it makes me sad every time I see it. What do you like and not like?
Well, and the chunky heel, believe it or not, I like it only because it's easy to walk in. But I don't think it's very becoming to a woman's legs. You know, to me it makes a lady's legs look heavier and even thicker, you know.
Yes.
And this summer I had a hard time with the short shorts, you know, the rompers. They were really in. And, you know, I guess if you're 21 and you've got great legs, it's the best outfit in the world. But once you get to be my age, and I just turned 55.
You could still wear those though. Like, you're in great shape.
I do, but for a woman my age, it's getting harder and harder to wear those outfits because, you know, our skin just isn't what it was 20 years ago. Good God, I don't know why it wants to sag.
Mine isn't what it was 20 seconds ago. I'm a rusted sack of potatoes over here. I should let you wind this up before I rot. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're so funny. Anyways, people, I love today's segment. It was a blast. We could talk all day about this, Michael and I, we could, but we're going to have to go. It's that time of the day. So just make sure you get out there and research me on social media. I am everywhere. I am on Twitter, Facebook, Snapchat. Instagram is my huge account. I'm almost to 100,000 followers, people. And of course, you can always check out my YouTube channel. So thanks again, Michael. A great show, and I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about next week.
Woohoo!
Have a great day, guys.
You've been listening to Conversations in the Closet. We will return again same time next week. Brought to you by NI30D Athletics.